It's always good to do exercises
Move over some here.
that challenge that vestibular system to kind of keep it going, keep the cobwebs out of that vestibular system. Then the third system is what's called the somatosensory system. And this is the muscular system, and this is the system that Parkinson's really plays a big part in.
What's it called again?
Somatosensory system, AKA your muscular system. That's just your fancy term for it. But that's another reason why we want to have strong quads, strong glutes, and core muscles. What are you doing? Oh.
We can do taping.
All right, other things besides the three systems. We've got, if you've had an injury before, that can be another thing that can throw you off balance. Medications, you all know how that is, taking them at a certain time. If you're taking too much, if you need to tweak it, that can cause you to be out of balance. Other diseases, and then deconditioning. Deconditioning is probably the most common cause of falls in older adults. And what does that mean? Deconditioning. That means you become a couch potato. But the good news is you guys, even though you are a Parkinson's, a Parky, some of y'all and most of y'all are probably in better condition than some people that don't have Parkinson's. And you probably have friends that know if they park out there, it would be hard for them to actually make it in the building because they are deconditioned. So that's why it's good to start exercising so you don't become deconditioned. All right, how Parkinson's causes balance issues. Let's talk about that for a minute. Let's bring Parkinson's back into the picture. We talked about our muscle and our motor systems and symptoms. Of course, we are all familiar with what's called axial rigidity, and that's stiffness and loss of flexibility, and that's why we always like to do good stretching. We need to stretch every day. Freezing is another cause of sudden and temporary inability to move. Bradykinesia, delayed reaction time and slow movements. Then there's changes in our posture, stooping or postural instability, changes in the center of gravity, and then also vision changes with Parkinson's. So these are a few things that can cause us to be off balance. So let's think for a minute, what are some things that we can do to prevent falls? I've got lots of little things here. There are a lot of things at home that you can do. Typically, most falls happen at home. And one reason is because people get a lot more comfortable at home. They let their guard down. So think about things at home that can keep you from having hazards. One are floors, things on your floor. If you have piles of books maybe by a chair or whatever, there are things that need to be minimize clutter. Rugs can also be big fall hazards. Bathroom, install grab bars, also non-skid tape in showers. Lighting, make sure, especially at night, if you have to get up, that there's ample lighting so you can see where you're going. They have some neat things now, like they're lights, and they put them under your bed, and they're motion, so if you put your feet down, the light shoots out so you can see where you're going at night. So make sure lighting is good. Make sure kitchen areas, there are non-skid rubber mats around, or cleanup spills, stairs. Of course, we all know how important rails are. And entrances and doorways, just be careful with those because a lot of thresholds can be huge fall threats. All right, so now we're going to talk a minute about walking. Walking, there are do's and don'ts. Y'all all know there's a time when an assistive device is needed. Those have to be properly fitted. To use those if you have them, don't wait until you have a fall to use one. Two of the signs that you need some help walking is if you have had recent falls. If when you get up and you walk around, you find I'm going from furniture to wall, such as that. If you go shopping, it's a lot easier for you to push a cart. It might be time to think about having an assisted device, AKA a rollator or something that will help you get around. So just keep those in mind. Now I'm gonna do, and I think I've done this for y'all before, a few things for walking. I'm gonna walk incorrectly, and I want y'all to kind of tell me what I'm doing wrong, okay? So I'm walking along like this. All right, walk looking down. Don't look where you're walking, look where you're going, okay? All right, the next no-no is going to be, I'm walking like this. Hands in their pockets. Always keep your hands free if possible. Sometimes you have to have something in at least one hand, but try to at least always to have one hand free, and walk using an opposite arm with an opposite leg, okay? This helps balance because you're evenly distributing your weight. All right, then here's the next one that can cause us. I'm walking on my toes. All right, heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe. And you really have to make a conscious effort to walk like this. The key is don't get in a hurry. And sometimes you have to tell yourself, talk, okay, I know I'm gonna have to walk from here to there. I'm gonna go, in my mind, heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe. The more you do that, the more we've talked about, and I know Gil's big about this word, neuroplasticity. The more you do it, your brain learns those little wave avenues, and it becomes a daily doable thing rather than one you have to remember.
Yeah, Kathy, I find that being aware that you're doing it is one of the tough things. A lot of times, all of a sudden, I realize, by golly, I'm pushing on my toes. I'm not lifting my heel. I have to consciously think.
Right.
Always yours. Lift those knees. How did he say it? Lift those knees. Swing those arms.
Right. Being, and when you're out, being aware of your environment, like if there's a sidewalk, use the sidewalk rather than on uneven dirt or whatever, because there's always a hole somewhere and you might trip and fall. kind of assess a parking lot to see where the dividers are, if they're there. Just so you will know before you get there, okay, there's a concrete divider there, I'm gonna have to step over that when I get there, so I know I'm gonna have to stop and take my time. A friend of mine whose mother recently, well, it was back in the fall, and she had a bad fall. Walking across the parking lot, there was an oak tree. She didn't realize that there were acorns all around. So she walked across the parking lot, those little acorns shoop around her feet. So just kind of be conscious before you get in a hurry to get out of the car to go somewhere. Plot your course, so to speak. So also in dealing with walking is turning. And I know John has brought this to my attention before about the correct way of turning. You wanna tell us what you've learned?
You know, you make a 360.
Right, you lead with
Right.
the foot, okay? If I'm gonna turn to my right, I'm gonna step with my right foot and then bring my left foot. My right foot, bring my left foot. Get in a hurry, we wanna do this. And so I have crossed, made an X, no, you know, which is, you're setting yourself up for a fall. Also, if you can, you know, okay, I know I'm gonna have to turn, it's just taking a wide, not having to do those close turns, but making a big U-turn. So practice those and get your mind in that mindset. The main thing is don't get in a hurry. That's what happens a lot. Nick, you got something to add?
And what I've noticed is that, I put a chair or something to sit, when we go from my bedroom to the kitchen. That's enough distance for me to start hurting my back. When my back hurts, then I'm gone, and then I lock up and those bad things. So what I do is I put a chair out there, and so when I go and sit in the chair, get from the chair to the kitchen, and then I keep my one hand on the cane, you know, the three, and I know what areas are difficult for me, and I have places where I can get to grab a hold of, start for. And that's what I very rarely keep both of my hands busy. I have a cane and the other hand, that's it. That's a place to be able to
You're being proactive is what you're being, which is great. You know, you're planning ahead for, should I need this? I know where it is, and this is.
You can shares to the table, so I can just go ahead and sit down on it.
Right. I know in the past, when I worked at a senior facility, the scenarios of falls, you could write a book, but most of them were things that hadn't been planned for. Well, I got up during the middle of the night, my walker was out of reach, so, you know, it should have been, you know, next to your bed or whatever. Well, I was walking to the door and I tripped over the rug. There, you know, rugs are great, they're pretty, but they can be very dangerous.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I keep a flashlight, a little bitty flashlight, just click it on and off. And I got some, colored, clear transparency, red.
Uh-huh.
I folded about 4 thicknesses of it, put it over the face of it so it doesn't wake up my wife.
So you keep that in close contact.
So the tail hangs over the edge of my car.
Uh-huh. Great. Anybody else have any little tips?
she developed, when we used to walk, this is before we even knew that she had Parkinson's. We would go out to walk in the neighborhood, and a slight hill, she would start walking down the hill and she would start picking up speed. And she couldn't, it didn't seem like she could stop herself, and after about 6 of those steps down she'd go. And so she developed this thing where she would realize she was going too fast, she would just come to a dead stop.
Right,
You know, I'd be
right.
going fast and I'd wait, I said, okay. And the other thing is, I watched her fall where she was far enough away from me to where I couldn't help her or catch her or whatever. And it's like, you realize you're about to fall, but she never could stop herself. And in some areas, if you think of a tightrope walker at a circus, they're up 60 feet, they're on this little 1-inch
Right.
cable. They have this big pole, which is on either side, and that's how they balance. But without the pole, you've got 2 arms. And if you're walking and you somehow the brain knows, because it's your ears and your eyes and all this kind of stuff, that you're off balance. You can put your arms out, or if you're leaning this way, you put an arm out, or you raise an arm, or use that weight valve to steady yourself before you fall.
Right,
Sometimes
right.
it works, sometimes it may not, but at least it's something.
Yeah,
better.
that's a great idea.
Better
And
than nothing.
another tip for going down a hill is, instead of going down, go crisscross. Because you may not get there as fast as everybody else, but like you said, you don't pick up the momentum because you're going straight down, crisscross like that. I kinda learned that too with snow skiing. Yeah, I mean, my son was like, Mama, we're waiting on you forever, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm getting down here safely, So, but,
Another thing is when you stand up, you get your land legs before you start, because with high post.
yes, standing, yeah.
And then you think you're okay, you start, and then you're not.
Yeah, that's one of the things that they always say is when you stand up, possibly count to 15 before you take off. Because that kind of gives you a little time to get acclimated to standing. We've talked about this before too, about if I'm standing up for a long period of time and all of a sudden I feel like I'm gonna start going back. Retropulsion. Okay, so what do you do if I'm like, okay, I'm just, change that stance. A wider stance, hip stance is better than like this. If you stand like this for long, you're gonna feel like you're just gonna start. But I'm standing and all of a sudden, I feel like through gravity, I've got a magnet that's pulling me back. Whatever is your dominant leg, just put it back like that. Or step forward. Change positions.
Kathy,
Even shifting weight side to side.
it's no secret why boxers have what we call a boxing stance, which you just did.
Right.
Your weak leg goes in front because your strong arm is gonna be your punching arm. Your strong leg is back and sideways. So you've got left to right, you've got sideways. And it's a stance we teach there in boxing. You just told us that's what we should do when we're standing normally, because you've got all directions covered with your legs.
Right. Great suggestions, y'all. Good to know. I'm just looking over my notes to see if there are any other things we didn't cover.
Paul's point, you're making a triangle with your feet, instead of line. Triangle's more stable,
Three contact points.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, what we're gonna do now is, Lindsay's got some balance exercises, but I'm gonna get y'all to stand up and we're gonna just kind of warm up and stretch, because we talked about how important stretching is. If you don't do any type of stretching when you first get up in the morning, let me encourage you to start doing so. start with just a neck turn, start with some shoulder, just kind of do an inventory to get, muscles moving, joints. If you've got a ball and socket joint, get it moving. So we're just gonna do a little, warm-up exercise. And then we're gonna give it to Lindsay. Let's find us a good song.
Chair. It's open. Just.
All right, everybody, I want you to be behind your chairs. All right. I want you to just reach up, take a deep breath up, and back down. Again. All right, this time let's slowly moving, waking up our wrists. All right, take your left hand over towards your ear and down. Other side. Do that again. Reach, lower, inhale up, and lower. Now let's push side to side. Stretching and waking up is not hurriedly done, just taking our time. All right, now let's lay this left arm out, circle it forward for 4, and take it back. All right, hold it out. I want you to cross it over and stretch it back. Cross it over and back. Cross. And last one, and we're gonna change arms. All right, forward, roll it forward, 3, 4, and back it up. 2, 3, 4, hold it out, cross, and stretch. Cross, stretch. Last one. All right, now let's just roll our shoulders up and back. Drop it down. Look over your right shoulder. Center. And left. And center. All right, now let's go to the side of your chair. All right, holding on to the side of your chair. Yeah, we wanted to have room in the front. We're gonna take a leg. Let's start with our outside leg. And we're just gonna take it forward and back. So stick it forward, back, forward. All right, this time I'm gonna leave my knee up and take it down. Up, down. All right, now I'm gonna hold it up. Maybe I might need to hold my hand under there, but I'm gonna rotate my ankle. Waking up, moving that ankle, reverse that roll. All right, take
doing a little ball work. Thank you, ma'am. Be aware that the tie-dye ones are a little bit more textured, so the gray has to be a little bit different.
I'm gonna put them on me.
Yeah, let me try it.